city.
We'll call the September 19, 2022 meeting of the Greenville Board of Public Works and Safety to order at 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rutherford.
Here.
Mr. Hoover.
Here.
Mr. Hudson.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. The minutes of the regular session of our last meeting, September 7, 2022, have been distributed to members of the board. Any comments, additions, corrections, deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval?
Move for approval. Second.
For the discussion, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. First on our agenda tonight is 1364 Sunnybrook Lane, Clifford Dowd. Am I pronouncing that even closer? Clifford, are you with us?
Yes, how are you? Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Tell us what you'd like to do.
Yeah, so I'm just building a fence on the right side. There's that image you've put up. Thank you. Basically, my neighbor directly, let's see here, west of me has kind of a similar setup. So on the north end, not exactly on the drain, obviously, but you see where it says 76. You can see I'm just building a fence around the perimeter of the home for the most part. So it's going to be close to encroaching on the north end, which I believe is a drainage easement. And then I think also on the west end, there's also drainage there. I don't know. I think there's a certain like a limit of deepness that I shouldn't go, but I could also see the line that's there on my schematic. We can avoid it by building on either side, but I was just trying to get approval to encroach and build within on my property, but within that easement.
Clifford, did you happen to receive a memo from John Thompson of the city outlining some proposed or some recommended conditions to this matter?
Let me look. I can like it would be through email, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it'd be a September 6th email.
Thompson, T-H-O-M-P?
Yes, yes.
So it might have came from Paul Peony.
It might come from Paul Peony as well.
Paul?
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, in any event, let me tell you the recommended conditions that have been presented to us.
Yes.
That the encroachment be constructed to allow for adequate drainage, and if it's ever determined by the engineering division of the city or the stormwater department that a drainage issue has been created, then you will be responsible to correct that drainage issue. Do you understand that?
Yeah. So you're saying that if I'm within the easement, because I'm going within the easement, are you saying if I'm blocking the drainage, or just because I'm in the easement, then it becomes my responsibility to fix the drainage?
Whatever, if your encroachment, your fence hampers the drainage.
Oh, okay.
That
so
would
if it's
be something you'd have to fix.
Okay, meaning I have to fix the drainage issue or remove the fence so they could work.
Well, whatever, if the issue is caused by the creation of your fence.
Oh, okay.
Replace your fence, remove it, clean it out, whatever needs to be done.
Got it. But if it's for any other reason, then not.
Right. If it's not your fault or not the issue with the fence, it's not going to be your responsibility.
That's understood. Okay.
And one of the most important ones, if there's any work that needs to be done by the city or utility in that easement, and it's required that we need to remove the fence or damages the fence, that's going to be your responsibility.
Understood. Okay, and I'm assuming, I guess, they're not really going to notify. They may or may not notify. In this case, it's fair warning, right? That they may or may not notify, but they just need to get to their work done, right?
Well, it's fair warning. I think if there's an issue out there, you're going to know about it. They're going to get to you. Maybe a short notice if it's a severe issue, but most likely it's going to be a little bit longer time frame, so you'll have an opportunity to work with the city or the utility matter and fix it.
Understood.
Okay. And then that your encroachment to fence be located no closer than 5 feet from the existing storm sewer.
Okay, 5 feet from the existing on the north end or the back of the property. And what about the side encroachment? Is that the same then?
It'd be at any point that there's be 5 feet off the entire, at least 5 feet off of the entire encroachment from the storm sewer.
Okay, understood.
And then finally, before you begin construction, you contact Indiana 811 to make certain all the utilities can be appropriately marked out there, so everybody knows where they're at.
Yes, will do.
Do you have any problem with any of those conditions, Clifford?
No, sir.
Okay. Any questions for the homeowner?
No, I appreciate your time.
I think the first condition is a little confusing, but mostly you just have to, the fence has to allow drainage. Water has to be able to drain through that fence.
Yes.
What kind of fence are you installing?
It's a vinyl fence. Just a vinyl,
Vinyl chain link or a solid vinyl?
solid vinyl.
Okay. Well, sometimes those can catch debris, and so that's why it needs to be kept clean so it doesn't impact the drainage.
Got it.
I would move for approval with those 4 conditions.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks and good luck to you.
Thank you all. Take care.
Next on our agenda is a homeowner for 2702 Wildflower Lane, Honey Creek Meadows. Somebody with us? You're gonna make me pronounce this name. Moana?
Yes. I'm here.
Okay, good evening. Tell us what you'd like to do.
Yeah, I would like to put a fence in my backyard as well, with chain links.
We've got a memo in front of us that was directed, hopefully you got a copy of it, dated September 13th. It outlines 3 recommended conditions. Have you seen that?
Yes, say it again. Oh yeah, have I seen what? Sorry. Come on. I'm sorry for the noises. Can you repeat again?
That's okay. Well, let me just kind of run through those 3 conditions. It's very similar to what you heard with the first matter, that the encroachment, your fence be constructed so as to allow for adequate drainage. Is that a problem for you?
No.
Okay. And then if there's any work that needs to be done within that easement by the city or any utilities, that you'd be responsible for the removal and replacement of that fence.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And then finally, that prior to constructing your fence or installing your fence, you contact Indiana 811.
To install the fence, I need to contact 811.
Well, Indiana 811 will come out and mark the location of the utilities, so your fence installer will know where those are at.
Oh, okay, got it.
And you can do that online. It makes it fairly easy. Do you have any problem with any of those recommended conditions?
So the 811 that you just talked about, how do I contact them? Like, how do I you said I can do it online?
Yeah, you just go to Indiana 811. It's a website. Give them your address, tell them what you're going to install a fence, and they will come out and mark all the utilities. Am I saying that correctly, Mark?
That's correct. You can also call 811.
I can also call 811?
Yes.
Just take one.
Oh.
It takes a couple of days for them to come out and do it.
Oh, so they are the one do the installation also?
No, they're just going to come out and put some spray paint on your property so that they know where the utilities are at.
Okay.
So when they put your fence posts in, it won't cut the electric line or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Mark where the utilities are buried.
Oh, so they're just gonna measure and mark where we can put the fence, right?
Well, your fence installer will put a fence where it's supposed to be done, put in, but they're going to make certain that they don't put any fence post that's going to run into an electrical line, a cable TV line, anything like that.
Okay, got it.
Right. You have any problem with any of those conditions?
No, no problem.
Okay. Well, I will move then that we approve the encroachment request subject to the 3 conditions set forth in John Thompson's September 13 memo.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Okay.
So can you like email me the saying that you approve me, because I have to let HOA know, let them know, about because they keep asking me, my condition.
Do you have her email address?
Yes.
Our recording secretary will email you a copy of the minutes, and they will be available after the next meeting, which will be October 3rd. Okay.
Oh, okay, got it.
Great.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is the Haunted Hoosier Block Party. Brian Nentra, Hoosier Brewing. Brian here, Brian online. Brian, are you with us? Well, let's move on. Next, let's go to Randall Richter for President South Business Center. Peterman Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Randall, are you with us?
I'm with you. Good evening.
Good evening. Tell us what you want here.
Well, we're looking to replat this President South lots 3F, 3E, and 3D, do a replat so that the recent construction that occurred over the line of 3E and 3F into just a single lot and leave the 3D similar to what it is today. And we've been working back and forth with the planning and zoning and also the engineer, which Paul Pioni sent me some comments last Thursday evening, and we're kind of working through those at this point, and hopefully we'll get him satisfied here this week.
Good. Mark, we have a memo from Paul. Everything seems fine except for just receiving those revised plat.
Revised plat, good.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks, Randall.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Andrew from Maurer Surveying, you with us online?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Wings, etc., out in the Meyer parking lot.
Yes. This is actually just for the sanitary sewer easement. The only sanitary sewer is actually a big main behind the back of Meyer. So part of this project will include an extension of the main around the parking lot, kind of north of Meyer's parking lot. And so this is just for the execution of that easement so that we can get that going.
Mark, everything is in line?
Yep.
I move that we approve the request.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sounds good. Thanks very much, Randy.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Okay. Next, we're going to have a discussion about the Bexley Village Apartments, Grassy Creek Lane matter. Someone with us to talk about this? Yep. Come on up here and tell us what we're trying to do.
We are here trying to stabilize the banks of those funds, and we're working with engineers, Great Engineering, and to have something reasonable that we could really build to stabilize the banks. They came back with the plans. You guys have copies of it. It's not reasonable, and I don't think it's doable, because he wants us to dig some 18 feet down in the ground to build. Yeah, So there is no room actually to have any equipment or any means to dig that and install it. Plus, this will impose like significant amount of hardship on the property. With this violation we inherited just a year ago from the previous owner. Now we're working with different engineers to have different suggestions, maybe a riprap or another solution that will be easy to do and does not break the bank. So if you guys have any suggestions, or Chris, if you have any something different to do, yeah, I know it's a very complicated project. We've been working since we talked last time with engineers. We already paid like $40,000 just testing, engineering, and consultation. So we're not really leaving it alone. It's just a lot of work, and it's a very complicated project. So we're trying to get another extension for a year, because right now we're running into winter. There's nothing to be done. And we try to figure out with Chris and his team to find like common grounds to do it, you know, to comply with the city, plus, you know, just to have something doable. Because what the engineers gave us, and you guys have copies of it, there's no way. Even I had different contractors, nobody would touch it, because nobody would be able to dig 18 feet behind the building, 15 feet away from the, you know.
Chris, you want to chime in?
For Chris Jones, Director of Stormwater Management. Yeah, this has been an ongoing issue with this apartment complex. The previous owners, they continued to, I say, delay us, because that's probably what they were doing. And then they subsequently sold the property, and unbeknownst to the new property owners, they had this ongoing issue. But it's clearly, as you know, you look, you know, from Street View or some of the pictures, it's clearly been an issue for a while, and the ponds are very close to the buildings, and there's not much wave action, but it's still taking that bank away. So, you know, we instituted some citations starting last year, in like June of 21. Then suspended them, or we had the Board of Works. We suspended the citation while we worked with the property owner for design, and they've been actually going through CDS. But the board had asked, you know, in 6 months to come back with a report, and I think the engineering department provided you with that, or at least a memo. So up to this point, have been a set of plans been filed with CDS, but no work has been done.
So you're making progress working on it. I think that was the purpose of the suspension, was to make sure that it just wasn't ignored.
Yeah, no, it is in progress. We're like really consulting with experts, different contractors, and excavation companies to figure out how we're going to handle this situation. It's not a small one, 3 of them. And no matter what we do right now, just the cost of those plants, even if somebody would touch it, over $1 million. And I talked to the owner, and he just kicked me out of his office. He just, all jokes aside, it's not doable. Like, even if a contractor really agrees to it, there's no way of doing what's really in the plan. So we're trying to figure out a different plan, different solution. Open to suggestions from the city. Hey, guys, this is doable. It's been done before. Chris is laughing because that's what we're trying to do. We're not ignoring the problem. We're working on it, but not too many people want to touch it, and it's time sensitive again, obviously.
Well, I think Jeff just appropriately addressed. I mean, one of the reasons primary reason you're here is because prior owners, in our opinion, were just not addressing the situation, not attempting to it, just kind of thumbing their nose at the city's requirements. So
that sounds like he's trying.
We're glad you're stepping up, and your owner is stepping up and trying to do that.
I guess one of my concerns, Chris, would be I'm very familiar with this problem. In fact, when I was with the Schneider Corporation, we actually looked at this with the previous owner, and they ignored the suggestions. But the safety ledge, I would bet that it is non-existent as well, or do you think it's still there?
Yeah, it doesn't appear that the safety ledge is still there. I think it's eroded. That's the pond. That's where riprap, I know we've talked about that before. there's nothing to hold it there. It'll just go right in.
Slide down the bottom.
So what I would look for, or not to speak for the engineer, but what is the guidance on phasing? So if we're, if I was asking for, another year, are there certain things that the board would like to see? How do we determine the progress? That's what I'm asking.
I'm actually, speaking of riprap, I had another contractor to go check it out to see. Riprap is not just going to be straightforward, just throw the stones at this location, especially. They're going to do a lot of grading, digging, and bringing maybe more dirt to have somewhere. Because the problem is there's nowhere for right now the rocks to stand. Everything will just go down. Right? It's just literally steep like that. So we have a contractor who's going to look at it this week. He's going to see how we could do riprap, maybe like bigger rocks in the beginning, or do some grading, maybe steps. Maybe we're trying to figure out a way to do it. It's just it's very complicated. Like people will love the work, but it's just they don't want to touch it because you cannot promise any success.
You say you have a contractor coming out?
I have a couple of people looking at it this week. Hopefully they'll go through just to see how could we actually put riprap, because it's not straightforward. It was a first suggestion, but it was not easy to do.
Mark, any thoughts? Which one is thought?
No, so engineering, I seen the geotechnical report that was prepared by Patriot Engineering that recommended what they're showing in the site plan here. We had requested a site plan. It's actually the first time I've seen it tonight, the site plan or any costs associated with it. Recommendations, contractor once told me the answer's never no, it's how much money do you want to spend. So kind of the problem we fix, yes, probably. It happened predates my time here, but you suspended fines because he was working in good faith with us. And I think if he continues to work in good faith, then he should continue to be given more time.
We don't want to design it for him.
Correct. Yes.
I would love a design from you guys if that's something.
Nice try.
We're running out of options. You want to add ideas because you want to explore. You said like what they suggested, what did they ignore, whatever it is, just try to fix it. Because the last thing is we want to just say we are building a new property. We don't want to make you guys mad. Right. Right? On your side.
We just want to make sure it's safe for the residents.
I agree with you.
We're happy to help it through our site development process as speedily as we can.
Well, how
Continue to suspend the rules.
Suspend the yeah. Maybe we can do all at once. Some checkpoints that you think will make you happy. Now we're kind of going into probably not the easiest time of the year to actually do something, but at least have some reporting back to.
I do believe there was some erosion happening on the culvert along Grassy Creek Lane. Is that correct, Chris? Towards that culvert. That is something I think should be prioritized as being addressed as it approaches our public right away.
I agree with you.
Is that something we could ask that as part of a determination on this the specific issue before, is that they meet with or they coordinate with you and or Chris to determine what needs to be done in a priority manner and then the timing of it. You can always ask Chris or somebody to report back to us periodically so that we know that something's going on or not.
So originally petitioner had asked for 12 months, and we Jeff had suggested 6 months, and then let you know where we are. How about we go ahead and do another 6 months, and then we'll report back to the board.
That's fine. Sounds good. I would make that motion that we suspend the fines for another 6-month period, and then you come back to us and report your progress, if anything. Hopefully by then you can have another opinion or two on design, and maybe from a contractor that would help out as well. That would be my motion. Second.
Further discussion?
I do have some further discussion though. If you can also assist us, I noticed that on the eastern portion of the property where it butts up to Sheep Road, that residents are cutting through the grass and basically created a dirt road through that location where they're exiting the complex.
Oh.
And I think that needs to be addressed because it's causing a problem over there. If you have your people look at that.
I believe, and again, this predates me, I believe that's partially there for emergency access.
I think it is, but
It's
they're using
inviting for people to drive. Yeah, there could be solutions. We
might look at that. I mean, it's
You said the sheep at the entrance of the property?
like the parking lot or the bus sheep road.
It's over there by where they put that single garage.
Okay.
And it's, what it is it's been used like when it repaved or, I live over there, so I see it. Where they would repave or seal the parking lot, they would use that as an entrance and exit for the people that live there. Sure. But yeah, I've been out there driving on Sheep Road, in the middle of, and when it's dark, car just jumps out at you.
Yep, we'll take care of that.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thanks. Good luck.
Before we go on, do we need to address, were you gonna make a recommendation on the erosion issue?
I was
You
not.
mentioned? Okay, so that doesn't need to be, you were just mentioning.
I think I haven't heard what we were having concerns with.
Okay, I just make sure I.
Good business owners will.
So we have to move forward in the future with prioritizing how they spend their money as we.
Next, anyone from the audience wish to address us? Todd?
Here from board night to request approval to purchase two 2023 Ford Maverick trucks, XLs. These are order banks open and closed in 24 hours. They're reserved. The kicker is they do not have 23 pricing. Okay, this exact build for a 2022 model would have been $25,855. I've talked to the controller. I know we budgeted $30,000 a piece for each vehicle, so if the board would approve it, I would request it that approved not to exceed $30,000 without coming back to the board.
Two vehicles.
Per vehicle.
Right.
I'd move for approval. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
And Gray, we're confirming that that's correct.
Yes.
Anyone else in the audience wish to address it, either here or online? Sam?
All's well with item. I have nothing to report. Good. Only thing on my agenda is our contracts for professionals for the 2022 general obligation bonds. London Woody for the financial advisor and TAP for the legal representation.
Questions for Sam on either one of those vehicles? Motion to approve. Let's do TAP 21st.
I'll have for approval.
I'll second that. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And then with respect to the London Woody group,
I'll move for approval of that. Second.
further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Mark?
Yes, the first item I have for you tonight is authorizing staff to prepare and authorizing the mayor or deputy mayor to sign sanitary sewer service special agreements for the four developments listed there. Berry Chase Section 1, Water's Edge Section 3, Henderson Minor Plat, Scottsdale Estates Section 2. All but Scottsdale Estates Section 2 are outside of the city limits. So as the Western Regional opens up, we expect to see more of these coming online.
I would move to approve that request and authorize the deputy mayor to sign. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item I have before you is it's a request to authorize change order number 1 on the 2021 Community Crossing Matching Grant Old Depth Reconstruction and Mill and Overlay Project. This project included the roads Meridian Meadows, Stokely Boulevard, and Bushville Road. The contractor for this project was Milestone. This change order will include a 16-day time extension, and it will reduce the total contract amount by $226,513.84.
What's the reason for the time extension?
I think it's just ran over from the original contract amount. They got started late. There was weather delays. I'm not sure exactly on the details, but they finished in sufficient time in the process.
We're still significantly below the original price. Right?
Correct. Yes, we try to budget when we rebuild these roadways. We include a cost for undercutting in case we encounter soft materials. A lot of these roads proof road well. They were good once we peeled the roads back, and we didn't have to use that.
Well, I'm going to be authorized to change order number 1.
Oh, sorry. And the request is also to authorize the mayor or deputy mayor to sign the change order.
I'll make that part of my motion. Further discussion? Now, in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passed.
No, I do have another item for you. It is a plan review contract for the Berry Chase subdivision out in the county. Since they will be constructing sanitary sewer main, we'd like to review those sanitary sewer main contracts. So it's approval of that contract.
I'll move to be approved. Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mark, will we get those for other ones for Scottsdale and Water's Edge too?
So Scottsdale is within city limits. So no, we will not get that on that one because that was included in our typical plan review process. Water's Edge and Henderson minor plat. I would suspect no on the Henderson minor plat. We're probably just constructing laterals. Water's Edge, I'm not sure if main was constructed in section 2 and section 1, or if there'll be a main extension with that. If there is a main extension, it will include something like that as well.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Greg.
I'm sorry.
I have a handful of things for you this evening. First thing is for the waste management utility to put a budget increase on their fuel line item. The fuel costs have been killing us this year, especially for diesel. And then we've got leafing season coming up, so they're running more than most months. So requesting an increase of $20,500 for that fuel budget to take us through the rest of the year.
Is that a conservative estimate, or is that?
That's probably a little more than they'll actually need, but I didn't want to have to come back again.
Okay. I was thinking we'll have to come back now.
I'd move for approval. I'll second that.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Next item I have is resolution 2208, approving capital projects and issuance of bonds. That's the bonds Sam brought up for London, Whitty, and Taft contracts. This would include purchase of a fire engine, 16 PD vehicles, some street vehicles, the Mavericks that Todd discussed, and then also some paving projects.
Questions for Greg on this?
I move we approve the request. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next two items with the Baker Tilly scope appendix, these would be subject to final legal review with the deputy mayor to sign on his behalf. First one for the generally accepted accounting principles financial statements. In the past, we've had Crow do that. We've not been terribly pleased the last couple of years with them, so we're looking to change that. The scope appendix they provided, first year would be not to exceed $79,850. Second year not to exceed $68,500. This is in line with what we've been paying for Crow. It's split between the city and utilities. The other one is for arbitrage monitoring services. That is on our 2018 lease rental bonds. We have to do this every 5 years with lease rental bonds, basically proving to the IRS and the bank that we've not earned more interest on the bond proceeds than what we paid out in interest to the bank. That one would be not to exceed $3,000 paid from the CCD fund.
Can we do these together? But have any concern about it that way? Hearing none. Motion for approval of both of these.
So moved. Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Coach.
I move for approval of the claims.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Duncan, did we miss something that you want to do? You just like to come and watch us, huh? We'll stand adjourned at 6:06 p.m. Thank you all.